Hey Amiga users out there, Jack coming at you once again for another tutorial. This tutorial is going to go over Whd Load 2020. Okay, there is no such thing as Whd Load 2020, but this is my tutorial to give you some help in 2020 for anybody that's still having a hard time understanding Whd Load. I'm going to take this for face value that you understand the Amiga environment and how to get around in the Amiga environment. If you do not, maybe might want to check out some of my other tutorials or take a lesson in Amiga. So, what is Whd Load? Well, Whd Load is a program that allows games, demos, software that was from floppy, meant to run only from floppy, installed into the Amiga's hard drive or emulation or whatever environment that you're using, even a Pi or FS, UAE, WinUAE, whatever environment that you want. Whd Load doesn't matter. It's all about the Amiga, the backbone, the Amiga. So open up your favorite browser. I want you to open up your favorite browser. I'm using Chrome. And do a search, Whd Load. Okay? And go to the first thing that pops up. It should be whdload.de. I will have all of the links down in the description of everything. So click on the first part of that, Whd Load. Okay. Whd Load, it's got a little welcome here, is the Amiga OS friendly hard disk install package. Whd Load makes it possible to install quite a lot of demos, games, and should say software too, which were originally designed only from floppy disk and from systems that piece of software was designed for, like something from an old 1.2 or 1.0 or 1.3 piece of software or a demo or a game that's from way back in the early days of the 1000 and the 500 that won't run on your 3000 or your 4000 natively. So that's why you have programs like Whd Load. Now, is Whd Load perfect by any means? No, but is an awesome piece of software. It is fantastic. It is being updated all the time. The last stable release was 2019 3/9, so March the 9th, 2019, the day that my grandson was born. So that's kind of cool to know. I currently run with my systems. I currently run the 18.6, which is the beta versions, and I run a beta version. You can go into the beta section, scroll all the way down, and it's right there. It was released on 11/11/2019, right there. So now, when you have Whd Load, you have to have something that is also called kickstarts. Now, if you go up here to the top of the Whd Load support page, you have docs and install. Okay, go to the docs and go down to the language that supports you. I am English. This video is in English. If you translate it into your language, you might want to pick your language accordingly. So I'm English. Let's go to English. And what is this? Whd Loads for easy installation of programs to a hard disk, demos, games, which kills the operating system. To install a program, a so-called slave must be written. The slave is the interface between the program and Whd Load and coordinates the reading and writing of files. Basically, it's circumventing the desktop OS and the older OSs and current OSs, and it's launching the program, game, demo, just like if it was running off of a floppy. It has a little executable file that's an icon, and I'll show you that later on, that represents that program, demo, game file. So, what is the requirements? You need to emulate Yes, I said emulate, but not an emulate like you think. You'll need to have kickstart, soft kickstart files. Like right here, it shows kickstart 318A500, 34005. These are versions of kickstarts, but these are soft files of the kickstart. So like version 1.2 right here, 1.3 and 3.1 to cover all your bases, 600, which will cover the 500, the 2000, and the 600. Then the 1200, which will cover the 1200 and 4000. You can also get some 3000 soft kick ROMs. I'm not going to tell you where to go get these kickstarts, but Google is your friend. Search for these names right here. Search for those. You might have to do a little bit of digging, but search for them. You'll find them. They're not hard to find. I'm not telling you to go out there and illegally pirate Amiga ROMs or anything. Also, if you have in your collection, if you have the Clanato Amiga Forever CD, that may be used too. But you will have to put the ROM key, this ROM key right here, inside of devs directory kickstarts. This is on your Amiga side, devs. Okay. Some older installs require kickstart 46.8 A1200. These installs won't work with the Clanato ROMs, so you have to find it another way. Okay. But yeah, just read this site. Look over it. I'm not asking you to read it word for word and understand everything that is going on. So, going back to Whd Load support, you can see where they update all the games, all of the slaves for the games. And when you have your list of games and you have your directory of games, which I'll show you on the Amiga side, these are slaves and configurations that you can download. Put them in those folders and it replaces it what they've updated and added. Or you can download a new Whd Load archive. I can't tell you where to go get games. I can't tell you where to find them at. I'm not going to do that because some games are still copyrighted and stuff like that. But Google is your friend. Okay, just an example. If you searched Whd Load Dragons of Flames right here, I'm pretty sure you'll find a Whd Load of that. So yeah, it's fairly easy. If you know how to transfer, I'm not going to go into transferring files from the PC to the Amiga, but if you have a way to transfer files over there, you can transfer the Whd Load files over to your PC. So let's go over to the Amiga side and let's dive in a little bit of Whd Load. So here we go. So here we are on the Amiga side. Okay, I have my Amiga Workbench loaded up right here. Yes, it might not look like yours. Mine's fancy with PNG icons and everything else, and graphics card and everything else. So just bear with me on that. It's bare bones for me, but it might be fancy for you. But anyway, all right, this is Workbench 3.9. This is Amiga OS 3.9 with Kickstart 46143. So I have 314 ROMs and I'm running Amiga OS 3.9 with the hybrid 314. We won't go into any of that. This is strictly Whd Load. Okay, so when you download, you need to download a Whd Load LHA package. Okay? Okay, when you get your Whd Load LHA, you can download it straight from that site. You saw it right there in the link. And you can download it and you put it wherever you want to on your Amiga. Get it to your Amiga and you need the run to install. Okay? It's going to be a simple install, but I'm not going to go through all of that. All right? You just install it, do what it says, and it will install Whd Load. Whd Load is a C command. It sits in the C directory of the Amiga. And if we look here in my C directory, you will see it should be here somewhere. See, there it is, Whd Load. Whd Load right there, and Whd Load CD32 to be CD32 compatible. Yeah, it's all right there. And if you would like to, you can download, you can go to AmiNet, and you can download a program called iGames. iGame. And iGame, you install it, you download it, you install it on the Amiga. Hopefully you know how to install stuff on your Amiga. And you install it. It has some things, a couple of libraries that you're going to have to go fetch, and you're going to have to put in the proper places. But iGame gives you a graphical front end for all your Whd Load games. If you have a Whd Load archive that is massive, okay, you will love this tool. And this tool allows you to search and play games straight from that menu. So if I clicked on that, if I clicked on Agony right there, it would launch. Okay, but we're not. This is a front end. This is a launcher. Okay, we're talking about what Whd Load does, how it is, how you can make it work, and how you run it. And like I told you, you have to go get Whd Load games from the internet. You've got to find a source for them somewhere. Google is your friend. Look, if you already have a Whd Load package and you don't know how to get the stuff going, you've got to have the required kickstarts. The kickstarts will need to be in devs, and we'll do a show all here. Okay, and kickstarts. Now, I have a lot of kickstarts. I have modified kickstarts. I have all kinds of different versions of kickstarts, and I have a very big list of kickstarts. Google's your friend. Okay, I have all kinds of kicks in here. I have kicks to call to other kicks to do other things, and yeah, so there's all kinds of things in here. But that is my Kickstart library. You will need a folder called Kickstarts inside of your devs directory. So if you haven't created one, go ahead and create it now. Just new drawer, Kickstart. That's it. Kickstarts with an S. Okay. I already have one, so I don't have to create it. All right. Whd Load sometimes gets finicky. Okay. Because Whd Load is allowing you to load games from all different systems and all different, you know, Amiga 1000s, 500s, 2000, all the way up. Things that are, you know, that a 4000 is not going to launch a game very well that was built for, that come out for the 500 and 1000 right off the discs. It's going to play too fast. Graphics might not be right. Things just, you know, just might not feel right, act right. And some of those older games, they call to the hardware, like it said in Whd Load. It calls to hardware, it calls to specific things. And the old school term is banging the hardware. Banging the hardware. So these games want to run on their native system. Whd Load makes it to where they can run on your current Amiga. Right now I have a 4000 040 25 VA 2000 graphics card, 312 megs worth of memory, SD card. I mean, I got the whole bells and whistles except for an accelerator. Some games run too fast. Some games run slow. Some games are chopped. Some games are messed up. Some games are squiggle. Sometimes you just can't get those games to run at all. Now I'm going to tell you how. So let's just say we've downloaded a game, a Whd Load game. We've unarchived it. We've unLHD'd it to our favorite spot. I just so happen to have one sitting right here. And let's use the game Agony, for example. All right. I'm going to click on that game. Now, all Whd Loads, most of the time, have an icon associated with them. You will have an icon right there. And sometimes right there, you might have to do a show off. Here's the slaves that I was talking about. Here is images of your original discs. This game come on 3 discs, and there they are. This slave, that slave file calls to each one of these as needed. There's your score save, so you can come back to your game and continue. You can read the manual. There's the manual for the game. There's the README for the game. There's the manual. Gives you introductory, all of that good stuff. The story, all of that. Okay. And I'll wait for my scroll to catch up. Okay. And here is the executable. Now, if I clicked on that game, that game will execute. And we hope that the default settings for it run. Now, you want to know what the settings are? When you click on the icon, then you right-click on the upper menu, hit Information, go to Icon, and these are your tool types right here. These are your tool types. This is how the game runs. All of these little calls is what runs. Now, like this one has no auto vec, PAL, preload size. Now, those may not make sense to you. That's the slave that we're talking about. It's called into that file. Whd Load has parameters to try and make it compatible with modern systems, older systems, newer systems. It does emulation, WinUAE, FSUAE. It tries to make it compatible with whatever Amiga environment you have. Real hardware, emulated hardware. It doesn't matter. It's Whd Load. It runs in the Amiga's OS, even under Amiga OS 4.1 Final Edition. It does the same thing. So I'm going to explain to these tool types right here. Okay, I'm going to explain those to you. Let's cancel out of here. Now, I'd like for you to open up a shell. Once you go to execute command, all right, excuse my fancy menus. I run a program called Magic Menus. If you do not know what that is, and you're running Amiga with more than, say, 4 megs of memory in a hard drive, you need Magic Menus. And if you're not using Magic Menus, you're playing with sticks and rocks. Okay? You want to know what Magic Menus is? It allows me to right-click and pull up my menus from across the top. So I don't have to go across the top, and I don't have to worry about Windows blocking my way to get to the menu. I can just click anywhere, and it's all right there. So Magic Menus, AmiNet, check it out. Okay, little tidbit there. Sorry, sidetrack there. Okay, I want you to open up a shell. So go to execute, execute a file, execute a command, or Amiga E for shortcut. All right, now I want you to type in new shell, if I can spell. All right, when that comes up, you're going to have a shell window or a CLI. You can say new CLI. That's fine too. That works too. Let's do that too. That works too. All right, let's make that window a little bit bigger. Okay, I want you to type in cd s:, and that will take you to the S directory of your hard drive. Mine is WB, shortened for Workbench. Your Workbench drive or your system drive or whatever you call your main drive. Big Bubba, I don't care what you call it. Whatever you call your Amiga OS main drive, that's where I want you to go. So your S directory and hit dir. Okay, you will have several Whd Load stuff. Whd Load Startup, Whd Load Cleanup. Don't mess with Whd Load Cleanup unless you know what you're doing. And Whd Load Prefs. Now, I want you to open up, I want you to type in the word more Whd Load dot prefs. Okay, it's going to bring this up. And we're going to do a more file. Now, it might seem all confusing for you. These are what it says: global configuration files for Whd Load, searched as swhd load prefs. CLI arguments and tool types will overwrite these. So if you do any CLI arguments or you write any tool types, it will overwrite these. Now these are global settings, okay? And everything that is semicolon, you can uncheck, like, you know, button weight. You can expert, no MMU, no autovec. That's a very popular one. No autovec. Let's do some more. No write cache. That's another popular one. NTSC, PAL. That's very, very important. Very, very important for sometimes a game in PAL runs slower on NTSC. Sometimes an NTSC game, keyword, will run faster on a PAL setup. So if you've got a game that you're unsure if it's PAL, even though you're in a PAL country or if you're in the US, sometimes games, because of their hertz and their frequencies of what their monitor displays, it's all about the monitor. It's not about the machine. You can set your machine as PAL all day long, but if the game is NTSC, it might not play right. So you might have to force it to go into PAL, or you might have to force your machine into NTSC and play the NTSC game. Key factor there. Key factor. We can do no write cache is another good one. No mem reverse. Let's see. Into file. Okay. Let's go back in here. Let me run ed on that file. Let's run ed on whd load dot prefs. Okay. Now let's make this window a little bit bigger. Let's run an ed on this. This is global configurations. All right. This is, I mean, every game that's going to start up. Every game that's going to start up, if it has no tool types already set, this is what it's going to go by. It's going to go by this file. Now, it explains to you out to the side what those files, what that tool type does. Button weight, waits for a button to be pressed. MMU, use the MMU on a 68030. AutoVec, no auto vectors. Auto vector graphics, I think that's what that means. Ignores unwanted auto vector interrupts. Okay. Disable the sound filter. Do not flush the memory. Do not allocate memory reverse. So I'm going to tell you right now, a good one by my global configuration is going with the no AutoVec. So delete the little semicolon. All right. No write cache is another one good for global. Okay. And then another one that's good is preload. Try to buffer as much data files on the startup. Now, you probably wondered why I didn't do anything with the NTSC and PAL. That's because every game is different. I go to switching that globally, and all my PAL games will probably try and load to NTSC, and all my NTSC games will try and load into PAL, which will make them fast and funky and chopped and everything else. So we are going to go, okay, we're at the end of file. Now hit escape, X, hit enter. Okay, now we're done with that. Let's go to end CLI. Let's type in end CLI. There we go. Now, let's go back to this agony. Whoops. Go back to this agony. Click it. Right click. Icon information. Icon. Tool types. Notice I already have the no auto vect put in there, and I have the PAL put in there. I already put those in there. I pre-done it. All right. So We have a problem sometimes here in the US of agony being chopped off on the bottom or being scrambly on the bottom. So I use this game as an example. So let's save that. Now, let's launch Agony. F10 to quit. That's the way what your Whd load screen looks like. And here we go. All right, look at that. Playing smooth, looking smooth, feeling good. Now, let's go back. Let's go back to this iGame program, which I highly recommend. If you're playing a lot of Amiga games, or if you're streaming, or if you're capturing video of Amiga games, this is the program to have. You can find it on EmuNet. It's simple. It's so simple to use. It's not rocket science. You tell it where your repository is. You tell it where your games are sitting at, where your massive directory of games are sitting at. Now, I am going to show what most people that I see, what I see most people having is this type of arrangement of their Whd load games. They've downloaded a massive archive. They've transferred it from their PC to their Amiga, or somebody built them a CF card, or you got a CF card, an SD card, however you got it. I don't care how you got it. But most of the time they have it in alphabetical order, and you have the games in here. When you click on one of those folders, you'll get all of these other little subfolders, and you'll get it like this. We'll do cleanup. And everybody I see got to clean up and got to show it to see their games. Oh, that's not the game I wanted. I got to go over here. Oh my God, that's a scrambled mess. Oh, I guess I got to straighten that up too. You know, and find the game that they want. You know, let's just for example, I don't know, Philbo's Quest. See, there's the icon right there. I'm going to click on it, right click on it, and I'm going to look at the information. I'm going to look at the tool types. Icon tool types. Preload, nothing crazy. I'm going to stick in PAL because I'm running a PAL 4000. I want to know if this game can render in PAL correctly, or if it's a native PAL game, it ignores that command I just put in. So let's take a look at Philbo's request. F10 to quit. We have some cheats here. You know, of course, Whd Load's got some cheats. I don't like cheating in any of my streams. Press 1 for the game. Press 1 for the story. F1. We're going to go F1. Looks like we got a little intro here. And here we go. Philbo's Quest. Oh, man. And it is playing in the correct screen mode size. There we go. I went into the little inn. Oh, that was a snail. I can't tell what end menus are used. So, F10, get out of the game. Alright. This way is clunky. This way is so much nicer. if I use the iGame program, iGame, and this one is version 1.5, straight from AmiNet, okay? I've used some of the newer ones. I always seem to go back to the 1.5. Okay, all you have to do is tell it to scan game repository, point it to wherever you put your Whd Load games, and whatever they are, whatever package you got, okay, you have to make sure that they're all extracted, okay, and they all are all extracted in their directories. And then you tell it to scan the repositories. When you tell it to scan, it's going to scan all of your games. My Whd Load games are 3,378. I have a lot. So if I want to look for, so FLI, Filbo's Quest, I can just click down here. Or if I want to search for Agony, I have Agony. Now this alternate, sometimes you have alts when you do a search. That's just the way it is. iGame sometimes reads it as almost like duplicates. Are there alternate slaves inside the directory? We were talking about the slaves earlier. That's kind of what happens. Now, the cool thing about iGames is that you can right-click and hit Game Properties, and it brings up the tool types. I can type in PAL. I can save it as an action, adult, adventure, bat and ball, beat 'em up, board game, cards. I can make it my favorite. I can make it a favorites list. Whatever I want to. Whatever I want to. Let's just put it in favorites. Shoot 'em up. Okay. There you go. Now, if I go to the shoot 'em up, there it is, Agony right there. Let's click on that. I got my F10 to quit. And here we go. So there we go. Agony. You know, let's look up oh, I'm in shoot 'em ups. I don't have blood money in shoot 'em ups. I got to do show all. Blood money. See, look at that. I just clicked in blood and it showed up every game blood. Let's do another something simple. Shadow of the Beast. There's all my Shadow of the Beast right there. I don't have to spend time digging around all of these folders. All of these, you know, all of these folders. I want the game Zool. I want to play the game Zool. There it is. I have all the different versions of Zool right there because I have a pretty big archive. So there you go. Whd Load in a quick nutshell. Check out Whd Load main website and all of your tool types, triggers you can do in tool types. You know, don't forget, if a game doesn't run, think about the machine that it was running on when it was built. So if it was something meant for a 500, think about what you got to do. You might have to turn off some chip memory. You might have to turn off some fast memory to make that game play and act right. Most of the time, Whd Load takes care of that for you, but occasionally you run into it. It's not perfect. Sometimes games just refuse to run. And they'll work 1 minute and they won't the next. You might have to go find another slave for it, an updated slave. Like I showed you, they update the slaves all the time. It's all about the slaves. The Whd load command just executes it, and it's the program that executes it, but it needs the slave to talk to all of the disk images and all of the other files associated with the game. So, if you want to know, oh, look at that. Look at that. That's just like vomit. It's like my WHD drawer just vomited folders everywhere. I'd have to sit here for hours organizing each and every single one of them, snapshotting that directory, snapshot all of that good stuff like that. And if I needed, oh, did I change the tool types on Bunny Brick? Or do I need to? Don't know. You know? Don't know if it might need a no auto vec. But we've got that set as a global setting. If the game doesn't use it, it won't use it at the global setting. So this game might run F10 to quit. Always look at the bottom down there to see what needed to quit. Sometimes I don't always look. Now see, that logo loaded up smooth. That's kind of neat. Anyway, you get the point. Tool types, iGames, organization, Whd load. Google's your friend. Find your kickstarts, put them in your devs directory, kickstarts. Put them in a kickstart directory, put them all in there. Load up your Whd load. Use your iGame. Scan the repository. Tell them where tell iGames where the directory's at. Set it up. You can even change the custom this backdrop right here. Find the IFF and you can make it whatever you want. Or you can download the IFFs for the games and put it in the folder. And when you click on Lancelot, the Lancelot picture will show up. I don't have time to sit there and download 3,378 IFF images for Agony, Alcatraz, Aladdin, so on and so on. There's too many. I just leave it as the default. So, hey, this is Jack. Thank you so much for hanging in for this tutorial. Please like and subscribe. Please check out Pints and Amiga Game Night every Saturday, 2 p.m. Central Time, live from Austin, Texas. You can see me there. You can ask me questions there. You can ask me questions about this tutorial. So here we are, Whd Load 2020 tutorial. Thank y'all for hanging in with me.